Hello everyone and welcome back. So what I'm doing right here is this is my second stage. I'm dry fitting this. I just want to see from the back wall to the back door to the front of that step. I already know the answer. I'm going to switch it over because remember I did say I would rather have a full at the step and then cuts to the back door. So I'm just checking this out and I'm making sure that everything is going to line up properly with my two lines and my center line. So anyways, I reversed it. So I am going to go with the full here. So you see the center line and you see the outside right and left line. So grab your level and strike a straight line from tip to tip to tip all the way down onto your floor. Now before I go any further, that's bare wood, so I use Curdy on that because you shouldn't lay tiles on bare wood like that. That's actually a joist, by the way. Okay, so we're going to take my measurement from that other step, and it's going to be that calculation there. And we're just going to transfer it to the other end. Don't go on the wall, stay on the step, because that step there and there are pretty close to being square. And just go to that other side and do the same thing. Just checking it out, just to make sure you're right on. And just check that mark on top and onto the floor. And there's your mark. I like to check multiple times. As you've seen my videos, I always check like multiple, even 4 times I'll check, just to be on the safe side. Because when you come into that garage, from that garage into that mud room, you want to see that flow through and through. You don't want to see like the one on an angle and then the step above straight. Okay, and that is my mark right there. So that's one end, the tip to tip of the herringbone. And that's my mark. So I'm going to strike a line from that to the other end. But just make sure that you're right on. Just grab your string line, grab something that's heavy or maybe a friend that can help you out. Just put it right on that line or that mark on the floor. And you're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. And we'll work on our center later. So just get the outer chalk line first, and then we'll do the center, okay? I'm sorry I'm posting a lot of videos right away. I've been very, very busy. And sometimes if I can't do a job, people will call me up. I explain to them, listen, I'm really busy and I just have way too much on my plate. They'll call me back a week later and say, we were wondering, we'll wait for you. And I'm like, yeah, as long as you wait for me, that's fine. That's not a problem. But, I'm now young spring chicken. So at one point I could work 12 to 15 hours straight and it wouldn't be a problem. But now, I can only put in 9 hours or 10 at the most now. Okay, that's my mark right there. So we're just the same from the front to the back. We just want to make sure. I didn't chalk it all the way down because the door is in the way. So, and it's too hard to put a pail the way that down unless I had somebody to help me at the front. So I'm just going to do it this way to complete that chalk line. And we're good. And you can see my 2 chalk lines. So I'm going to show you another step of how to get your center of a herringbone in case you ever forget the other one, but I'm pretty sure you won't. But this is kind of a longer step. So I'm going to grab my width of my tile and put it on the long ways and mark that. And I'm going to do the opposite side, okay? And we're just going to put my square on that and strike a line. Okay, that's my strike line. And then we're going to go opposite from tip to tip. We're going to kind of make like a star, and I'll tell you why. I know it's a lot of work and it's stupid, but sometimes people can forget, and this is another option that it'll bring back of when you first knew how to do it. And then we're just going to strike one from the center point all the way through. Okay, so you see that center. So I'll show you something. Just make sure your square is on there perfectly, okay? I showed this, let me explain this here. Okay, just like a star, okay? And I'll show you what I do. From that, I had a carpenter ask me, and then I showed him 2 ways, but I showed him this way just in case if he forgot. So that's my line right there. That's my center line right there for the herringbone. So let me just scratch out some of this stuff here for you. Let's get a wet sponge. Okay, that's another way. You don't have to do that, but it's just another way. Don't pick that one. Pick the long line there. And anyways, it's there for you if you ever come across something like that. Okay, now we're gonna work on our center line, okay? So take that center line and put your level and mark it on the floor. And it's already been done, but I'm just showing you an example. Don't you love when I just drive you guys crazy? I'm really good at that, by the way. So I drive myself crazy, so it's all good. Okay, there you go. Okay, just grab your tape measure, or you can use the same process in the first video, your tile, and just use your tile as a gauge. And then just transfer it to the other side. Okay, and that's my mark from center to one line. And we're going to do the same thing here, okay? We're going to transfer that line a little bit further down. And we're just going to check that to make sure we're good. All right. So I'm going to mark that maybe a little bit more down because, like I said, it's hard to get your chalk line in there. You can't put a screw or anything because this floor is radiant heat and there's water lines under that. So just grab some tiles and use that for a weight. And just make sure you're right on that line, okay? And just strike that line. Okay, same thing, from tip to tip, just like that, right on that center line. And the tip on your left line there. Now stick around and I'm going to show you how to get the fold cut, okay? So don't leave me just yet. All right. That's not going to be my starting point, by the way. So I'm just making sure that everything's centered with the top step to the bottom step. Okay, we're all good. Okay, so this is just an example. And that'll be my fold cut. But I'll show you how to do it, okay? So what I did was, this was earlier, later on this video. So I'm just showing you an example. I'm going to show you how to glue this down first. And then we'll do the fold cut and I'll explain how you can do that. Okay, it looks good. So what I'm using here is a Ditra quarter notch trowel. So there's a 1/8 Ditra trowel and there's a quarter inch notch trowel. So I'm going to use the Ditra quarter notch trowel. So what I'm doing here is when you put your cuts on the edge of that step, just mark it straight and then use that, transfer it down. But because I have the tile edge, it's a ½ inch thick, so dock off a ½ inch off of that tile that's doing the fold cut. If that makes sense to you, then you're right on pace. Okay. Just make sure you don't cover that line, okay, guys, when you're doing the install. Usually what I do is I lay all this first, and then I come back the next day because it's a lot easier to put pressure on both sides the next day because everything's dry. So that way you don't lose your guide, okay? Just like that. So remember, when you're installing tiles, remember to always back butter your tiles. It's so important, guys. If you don't back butter your tiles, your job will fail. Okay, just like that. Okay, and what I do is I use my fingertips to give me, from tip to tip, to give me, so there's no humps in the floor. But unfortunately, a little bit of a hump in the tile, that's unavoidable. But see how I'm putting my fingers on the joints and I'm pressing? That'll help me guide my levelness with the floor. Use your fingers and your eyes. Very important. This floor has been self-leveled, by the way, so I don't really have to use my level too much, but I do. So, and just so used to having my levels beside me all the time. And just use your 1/16 spacers. The same thing. I'm hoping you'll come back for my time lapse. At one point I had to take my shirt off and switch over to another shirt because it was like I said, the cement heats up in here and it's a hot day and it gets like to 35, 36 in this house. Only in my area because of the cement. The calcium heats up pretty good in the cement. And just put your level on there once in a while just to make sure. Like I said, this is self-leveler. There you go. Let me do another one for you, okay? I'm using Schluter all set on this one, as well as my 30 millimeter Ditra. That's Schluter as well. I didn't post the time lapse of the Schluter 30 millimeter Dietra, but I will do that. See, I'm just using my fingertips. And always make sure you have clean water and a sponge just to clean up those joints, because you got to make sure, guys, that when you're doing this, that your joints are clean as best as you can, because at the end, if you don't, you're going to be doing a lot of scrubbing. Okay? It's a little bit good too if you're going to scrub, clean the floor. Do that first thing in the morning. And each day that you lay your courses, come back the next day and just scrub the joints out a little bit better, so it's easier when it comes time to grout, okay? There's a lot of joints in herringbone, so... And that's what it's going to look like, okay? Nice and flush. Perfect. Like I said, just do your first course, come back the next day, and you can apply pressure, and it's like a key, okay? It's first course is always important. Okay, I'm doing a time lapse here. And once in a while, just grab a dry tile just to make sure at the ends of the herringbone that you're doing, you're right on there. Just follow those lines, tip to tip. Please come back, guys. I want you to come back to see the herringbone in time lapse. And sorry for the long video. Now those vents over there, they're going to be cut vents with the herringbone that's going to follow through the vent, okay? So I'm not too worried about that right now. Thank you and have a good day.